Welcome to today's episode. I am your host, Anaya Fuller, and today we are exploring the role of communication in youth mentorship and why the ways we listen, speak, and share stories matter so deeply for young people, especially those who have experienced foster care, trauma, or major life transitions. Communication may seem simple, but in mentorship, it becomes something much bigger, a source of trust, identity, and safety connection. To help us understand this topic, we're joined by two people doing powerful work in the lives of youth. We have two amazing guests joining us today, one at a time, to help us understand this better. First, we will hear from Raven Wood, coordinator and mentor for the Magic program at Eastern Michigan University. After that, we will talk with Luann Larson, coordinator from Northridge Church Royal Family Kids Club mentoring program. Let's get started. Raven, thank you so much for being here. To start, can you share a little bit more about the Magic program at Eastern Michigan University and your role as a coordinator and mentor?
Yes, thank you for having me. And the Magic program at EMU is a program that services students who have aged out of the foster care system and also any student who is experiencing homelessness or who has experienced kinship care. So, what the Magic program does is it's a supportive program that will support them through their college journey, and that is academically or mentally or just with life skills. So we really just serve as a mentor and as a support network for students in this population to earn their college degree.
That's amazing. Next question. In your mentoring work, what types of communication do you use most often with the students?
So the communication that I use most often is via email, just because that's like the official communication at EMU.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I find most effective is text messages.
Mm.
That's the most effective communication and the one that is usually I get the quickest response from.
Right. That makes sense. So many students in the Magic program come from foster care backgrounds. How does communication play a role in helping them feel supported, safe, and connected on campus?
So I think that one of the biggest things is I try to meet them where they're at.
Right.
So even though I do send emails to a lot of the students, I do that because I know um, I have some students who will check emails.
Right.
Um, but most of the time, just allowing them and giving them the space that like texting is okay or calling me is okay or even
Mm-hmm.
FaceTiming me is okay. I think that really helps them because they know that they don't have to rely on emails, that I can communicate with them that feels most comfortable for them.
Right. That makes sense. Can you share a time when a student you mentored was going through a difficult moment, whether that was academically, emotionally, or personally, and how your communication with them shaped the outcome? What did that experience show you about the impact that mentoring can have during tough times?
So yeah, I think that one of the biggest things that helps my students get through whatever tough thing they are experiencing, whether it's academically or mentally or socially,
Hmm.
is just being able to have that open communication and kind of like that open door policy.
Right.
Because they know that no matter what, they're able to like just come talk to me, whether that's something that's major that's going on in their life or whether that's just they want to share good news. So just being able to have those doors open where the communication is like, yeah, just, we're able to talk about serious stuff, but we're also able to talk about fun stuff too, builds that trust
Hmm.
and allows us to be able to communicate during tough times because we also do celebrate like the good things as well.
Right.
And I think that just is over time. Like it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen, within the next couple days. It's usually just like building that relationship. So when tough times do occur,
Mm-hmm.
then they feel comfortable with, communicating that with me. And if I have built that relationship with them, so they know that it's an open door policy.
That makes sense. That's really good that you have that with the students. Magic also creates community through events, check-ins, and peer support. What role does communication play in building that sense of community?
So I think this is the thing that like is sometimes difficult just because you want students to always come to like different events and build a sense of community, but sometimes it's hard just because if everybody's schedule is so busy.
Right.
So, um, either communicating with the students via like doing a group chat or even just texting them and letting them know what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and letting them know about different events and community activities that is happening, I feel has been the most effective because texting is just like it goes straight to their phone. If they have any questions, you guys can just text back and forth. It's not like an email where they have to kind of like go look for it,
Right.
or they are getting emailed by so many people that it's getting kind of lost.
Yeah.
So I have found over the past few years that I've been overseeing the program that texting has truly been the most effective way to communicate with them, even if it's about events and communicating building, community building, um, because they're able to get the information quicker.
Interesting. Good, good, good. So you work in a leadership role every day. How do the leadership communication skills like clarity, consistency, and being approachable show up in your mentoring or your or being a coordinator?
Um, so I think one of the biggest things is just me being present. I think that's like I would say the biggest kind of skill in leadership is just allowing the students to know that I'm just going to be present, even if I don't have all the answers, or even if sometimes communication might not be the best at times.
Right.
They do know that they can at least always pop in my office, or even if I'm not there and there has been a miscommunication or they need some type of answer, then they are always able to like just shoot me a text message or give me a call. So I think just keeping those lines of communication open
Mm-hmm.
has been the most important thing.
That's very nice. And what communication habits do you think make someone an effective mentor for the youth?
Um, I think it's just the trust and again, just being willing to meet a student where they're at because you have some students who are like, yeah, I'm good with, checking my email. Like you can just email it to me and I'll respond.
Right.
And then you have other students who are like, email is just absolutely out the question. It's better to call or it's
Yeah.
better to text. So being adaptable and being flexible with what type of communication you are allowing students to communicate with you, I think that's the most effective and like that's the best practice. Because I don't only like communicate with them through email or
Mm-hmm.
through text message. I also, try to do it through Instagram and,
Mm-hmm.
do it through Facebook. And, you have to be able to be adaptable and you have to be able to be willing to do multiple types of communication
Right.
because everybody is different and everybody has different types of communication that works best for them.
Right.
So being able to be flexible and adaptable to that, I think that's like one of the biggest skills.
Right. So truly meeting a person where they're at. That's good. Before we wrap up, what is one thing you wish more people understood about supporting foster youth through communication?
Um, I think just showing up is the most important thing. and that sometimes that with this population, they have so many people who haven't showed up for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sometimes people get intimidated because they're like, oh, well, I don't know the answer, or I don't really know what to say. And sometimes that's okay. Like, you don't always know everything. You won't always know the answer, but just being present and being like, okay, well, maybe I might not know,
Right.
but I can help you find the person who does know, or I
Yeah.
can help like you communicate with the people who you need to communicate with because they can help you better. So just being able to have like that open communication and being honest, like, okay, well, maybe I might not know, or maybe I'm not like 100% sure,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll help you find the answer, or I'll like we can do this together, is very important.
Yeah, that's so good. I appreciate you. Raven, thank you so much for your insight and the work you do. Your perspective really shows how communication is a foundation, not just an add on in mentoring. Keep impacting the lives of others, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we're going to shift to our second guest who brings another powerful perspective on the role of communication and youth mentorship and community care. Our next guest is Luann Larson, coordinator for the Royal Family Kids Mentoring and Club Program at Northridge Church in Plymouth, Michigan. The work focuses on supporting children in foster care through a combination of club experiences, mentorship, and community building activities. Luann, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
It's my pleasure, Anaya.
To start, can you describe the Royal Family Kids program and your role in mentoring and being a club coordinator?
Yes, Royal Family Kids is an organization that takes kids who are in the foster care system to camp for a week during the summer, and then after that, we match them up to mentors, which is a school year-long program. That includes one-on-one mentoring between adult and child, and also once a month we meet in what we call club, where all the mentors and the kids come together and they get to see their friends from camp and hang out together. We also, during that time, we do a large group activities with them with Bible stories and songs, and we also then do small group activity, and then we just do fun activities too with them. So it's a pretty comprehensive program. My role, excuse me, as the club coordinator is to put that club together.
Right.
And so then I have a team, we call them club staff, of volunteers who work with me in order to make that happen each month.
Okay, that is very, very nice. Club settings and mentoring programs at RFK require strong communication. How do you and your team use communication to create a safe, fun, and stable environment for the kids?
Okay, we have a lot of different communication tools that
Good.
we use. First of all, we start the year with a leadership team and we meet in person so that we can talk through what are we going to do this year, any changes we want to make, how do we want club to look like. And we continue that leadership team. We have a group text with the leadership team. So when things arise, as they do,
Right.
we're able to just text each other and say, well, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? In terms of communication with mentors and club staff, we use the Remind app to send quick little text messages out to our people to remind them of things that are coming up.
Nice.
We also do what we call a club reminder, which is in email format, which kind of tells them, no, it doesn't kind of, it does tell them what that club coming up that goes out the week before club, and what that club coming up, what the Bible story is, what the theme is,
Nice.
what the memory verse is, what the activity is. So both club staff and mentors come into that club meeting time knowing exactly what's going on. Occasionally we'll use Sign Up Genius if we need to sign up for things like a potluck or bringing certain things.
Nice.
During club, we have what are called mentor meetings, where the director meets with the mentors while the club staff then hangs out with the kids, and that's and she actually breaks that into two groups, so it's a very small group meeting with the mentors, about 10 to 12, and it gives them a chance for her not only to communicate with them, but for them to communicate with each other and share. And we also have, once a month, we have club staff meetings before club. So when they come in early to club before the kids get there. And then we meet and talk about what's going to happen, if they have any questions or concerns, and then pray over the kids and the club. And then I also have my club staff, I've broken them into team, and I have team leads. So then I will communicate with my team leads every month. Sometimes that's a group text, sometimes that's a phone call. I like having a phone call with them so I can discuss any problems.
Yeah.
To say, are you ready for club? What do you need from me? You know, how are things going?
Okay.
And then if I need to send them things, then I usually do that through email.
Okay, good.
Okay,
So
but I'm not done because that's communicating with the kid, with the adults.
Right.
They also communicate with the kids.
Right,
Big
right.
thing. So when the kids come, we have a large group time where we're communicating with them on things we want them to learn, as well as the Bible stories. Like, what do we want to learn from these Bible stories? We also have a thing we call family business, where the kids get to come up on stage,
I love
hold
that.
the microphone, and say what's good that's happening in their life,
Yeah.
and then we can all applaud for them.
Nice.
We also have a small group time with the kids called Connection Corners.
Nice.
And it's a time to just not only take what they've learned in a large group a step further, but also to give them some tools to help them deal with some of their trauma and some of their behaviors.
Nice.
And then there's a lot of individual interaction between the mentors and the kids. The kids each have a buddy in
Right.
addition to their mentor at camp, so that buddy will come and sit with the mentor and the club kid to have breakfast and talk with them. They'll hang out with them during club, and there's a lot of just sweet communication that goes on during that time.
Very good.
Okay, that was question 2.
Very good. So communication is used in all aspects. I love that. Many youth in your programs have experienced trauma. How do you adjust your communication style to support them in ways that feel inviting and gentle?
Yes, and that is sadly so true.
Yeah.
That many of them have come from traumatic experiences. I think the thing that comes to mind first is lead with love. You know,
like
and that's where we start with these kids.
Yeah.
We're faith-based, so we really believe that the love of Christ flows through us and towards these kids. And the other thing we do is we give them lots of choices.
Yeah,
we don't
that's
tell them what to do. We say, well, would you rather do this or this, which seems to work really well for them. I think particularly for kids who often don't have a lot of choice in
Right.
their life. In some really big things, like
Yeah.
where am I going to be living next week, but even being able to make choice in little things kind of helps them out. We try to stay very positive,
Good.
not telling them what we don't want them to do, but telling them what we want them to do.
Good.
And as I said, we teach them tools so that they have some things to help themselves calm down or to deal with things. One of the things we started this year that I really, really love, it's called You Belong.
Okay.
And so we start out every club time with an activity that centers around saying to the kids, you belong, you're
Okay.
part of the club.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. Some kids return to club for another year. How does communication help build trust and long-term connections between mentors and youth?
And that is very true that our kids return, and it is such a joy. Not only have we had kids return, but we've had kids from our program who grown up into adults who have returned,
yes.
which is even more exciting. And I think communication-wise, because we know those children, we can adjust our communication to them.
Right.
You know, is this a child that wants you to stay a little bit away from them when
Yeah.
you talk? Is this a child who wants a hug the minute you come up, you know, to
Yeah.
them? Is this a child who likes to be teased a little
Yeah.
bit? So, you know, at first we don't know those things.
Right.
So we have to just kind of take it a little slow. But when a child returns and we've had them a year at club, we've had them 2 years at camp, we, you know, then we kind of know them and we can adjust for that. I think it's important that with every kid that we try to get on their level, that
Yeah.
we try to make that eye contact and be at eye level with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we do try to, if at all possible, if a person has mentored a child 1 year, that they'll mentor the child next year.
Good.
And the next year and the next
Yeah,
year.
to keep
We
that
have our
relationship.
kids for a 5-year cycle, so sometimes kids, if they stay in the foster program, then they stay with us, then they can have the same mentor
Yeah.
for many years.
That's good.
And we have had situations where we've had kids who have moved 2 and 3 times during a school year, and the only constant in their life is that mentor.
Wow.
So it makes a big difference.
Yeah, keeping those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Your program often use storytelling through Bible stories, activities, along with singing and dancing. How does storytelling help kids feel seen, heard, and understood?
Okay, I love storytelling. I love doing it. I love hearing it, and I think the kids do too. We do, of course, we do Bible stories, and we try to do that in a creative way where we're acting them out. But what's really important to me when I prepare is that the kids have a part in it.
Nice.
So either they're up on stage helping us act it out, or they're in the audience pretending to be something, or they're doing a thumbs up, thumbs down,
Yeah.
or an activity along with it so that they are a part of it. I think kids and adults alike are very engaged by storytelling.
Yep.
And so we try too, not just to do the biblical storytelling, which is so very important, but to do personal storytelling.
Nice.
I have found in my years of teaching with kids, if there's one time when I've got every kid engaged and you can hear a pin drop, it's when I'm telling them a personal story.
Right.
They want to know about us, and particularly when the stories about when we were kids.
Yeah.
They find that very engaging. And so I think by doing that, by giving the Bible story creatively and then following up with an application with a story from our lives, it helps the kids then take that learning and apply it to their lives.
Yeah.
To say, oh, well, I'm not the only one.
Right.
Other people deal with this.
That is very important. Okay. Can you tell us about a moment when a child in the program was facing a hard situation and how you communicated with them through it? How did that interaction affect the mentee, and what did you take away from that experience?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is I listened. I just listened. Non-judgmental, just listened. And sometimes we really have to school our faces and our body language so that we can listen in a non-judgmental way. And I think when I'm thinking about one particular time, I didn't try to fix it. I didn't try to say, oh, it'll be okay. I just listened and I empathized with her. And it ended up with her seeming to be very comfortable telling me a hard thing.
Yeah.
And we ended up with doing a side hug, and it kind of went from there into laughter, and it seemed to work out really. It was I think it was just a moment where it was something weighing on her and she needed to get it out.
Yeah.
She needed to just say it.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, one of the things that I hope what she got from it was that she could talk about anything in our camp or club atmosphere. It was a safe place.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it reminded me that you never know what kids are going to say.
Yeah.
Be ready.
That's so true. That's very good, though. How do you train or prepare mentors to communicate well with youth? Are there specific communication skills you emphasize?
So we do, for club, we do a training every year before club starts, because it's September through May. Club, we do a training, and one of the things we do is focus on communication.
Yeah.
We are very strong in both camp and club with TBRI, which is trust-based relational intervention. And so we do a lot, and that is heavy in how you communicate.
Yeah, seriously.
And so we do a lot with that. We will do interactive things to help us learn it. We will do scenarios, like what would you say or do in this scenario, so that we can apply it to our lives too.
Good. From a leadership perspective, how do you model good communication for your mentors and volunteers?
Well, once again, I try to listen.
Yeah.
I say try because, we're human. And then try to ask clarifying questions, because sometimes when people say things, we think we know what they're saying, but we don't.
Right.
So I try to do that. I try to ask for, although my impulse is to say, okay, we can do, I try to ask for so what do you think we should do in this situation? And what I found is that bringing them in is sometimes they have a perspective I don't have, and I'm like, wow, that's a really good idea. I never thought about it. So I try to do that to get their input for it. I try to be encouraging and I try to be positive with my adults, and in hope that, so once again, I'm saying lead with love for the kids, but lead with love for the adults too. It's kind of the same thing. Everyone
needs love.
Yep.
In your opinion, why is communication so central to mentorship, especially for kids who may be hesitant to trust adults?
Well, and the reality is we build relationships through communication.
Yeah.
And whether that communication is the words we say or don't say in some cases, or what our face says or what our body language says. It's that communication that builds that relationship. And so I think that's really important, that we're aware of the many ways that we communicate and how we communicate with these kids so that we can build safe, trusting relationships with them.
Wow, that's amazing. Final thoughts. If listeners could walk away with one understanding about communicating with youth in mentorship settings, what would you want them to know?
It still comes back to listen. Listen. Listen first. And as adults, we don't always want to do that. But I think many times you just need somebody to listen to them.
All right.
Okay?
Listen.
Yep.
Luann, thank you so much for sharing your perspective. Your insight shows how communication is shown into every part of mentorship, from building trust to creating community. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
Today we heard from two leaders who work every day to support young people through mentorship. What both conversations make clear is that communication isn't just a skill, it's the heartbeat of mentoring. It's how mentors build trust, create safety, share stories, and help youth feel grounded in who they are and where they are going. Whether it's through programs like Magic at Eastern Michigan University or Royal Family Kids at Northridge Church, communication helps turn mentoring from a task into a relationship, and from a relationship to a community. Thank you for listening to today's episode of The Role of Communication in Youth Mentorship. I'm your host, Anaya Fuller, and I hope this conversation inspires you to think about the power of communication in your own mentoring, leadership, and community work. Until next time, take care and keep communicating with purpose. See you later.